Today, we confront Nigeria's silent crisis. Over 179 million people without safe drinking water, 48 million still practicing open defecation, and over 2,100 children under 5 dying daily from preventable wash-related diseases, all despite the country's vast water resources. As poor sanitation drains 1.3% of GDP yearly, join us as we examine Ondo State's water and sanitation efforts. Despite progress, can these efforts deliver lasting health and equity? On State of the State today, I am being joined by the Commissioner for Water Resources, Hygiene and Public Sanitation, Mr. Ayodele Akonde. He is a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICANN, and served as Executive Chairman of Akoko Northwest Local Government area of Ondo State. Thank you so much, Commissioner, for joining us on State of the State.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Now, let's begin this way. Commissioner, can you take us through your vision for the Ministry of Water Resources, Hygiene and Public Sanitation, when you first assumed office, and how it aligns with the present administration's agenda to deliver water to every household in Ondo State?
Thank you very much. Good evening, viewers at home. My pleasure once again to be here to express our views, our visions concerning the issue of water provision to the people of Ondo State. First and foremost, we want to thank the Governor of Ondo State, Dr. Lucky Orimisanyi-Dachewa, who has considered it very, very important and essential that provision of potable water, drinkable water to the people of Ondo State is not by choice. Very, very important that water has to be provided. And that is the reason why part of the East agenda of Mr. Governor, provision of infrastructure facilities, which includes water to the people of the state, very, very paramount. In order to achieve this goal, this paramount goal, we see first and foremost, there is an ongoing project financed by donor agencies in collaboration with the state to provide drinkable water to the urban center of Ondo State, urban cities of Ondo State. This project started, contractors have been mobilized to start to site. They started work, and not just only one contractor, but minimum about 4 or 5 contractors working simultaneously, so that within a reasonable time as defined, this project will be delivered. And I assure the people of Ondo State, as we know that our governor, Mr. Governor, only walks the talk, that what we will not do, we will not promise. The issue of water, problem of water, potable water, drinkable water, particularly in the urban area of Akure City and environs, very soon will be a thing of the past. You agree with me that for the past more than 20 years ago, minimum, nobody can talk about provision of, in those days we call it pipe-borne water in the state. But now, as based on what we are doing, that this one will be a thing of the past, water will start coming out from each household in Akure and environs. To be specific, about 7 local governments area to be covered within the next couple of months. Apart from that, the provision of water to the central area, I call it covering other zones like the northern zone, the southern zone. The frantic effort to ensure that we are able to reduce the burden of lack of water, drinkable water, to the various households. But the Water Corporation of Ondo State covers supplying water to the urban area. We have another agency called Osrc. They are into provision of potable water through provision of boreholes to the rural areas and suburban communities. Particularly what we are doing through that agency is not the traditional boreholes that we being provided, like not the other manual, what we call pump. But this time around, Mr. Governor has said that we have to face out the issue of this manual borehole, but with the use of solarized borehole. Because in case the rural areas where they don't have light, electricity, or or light, or at the same time the budget of providing diesel to run generator, where the cost implication of that. That's why now Mr. Governor said that no, although capital intensive, it's better to do things one at a time. That we're not providing solarized borehole to every community. We started basically last year, the 1 year anniversary of Mr. Governor. We were able to reel out some of the achievements over 40 communities, here and there. We're giving a solarized borehole, apart from the water schemes that we're trying to revive across the state. In the southern Senatorial District 2, to be specific, on Monday, we went around to go and monitor some of these water schemes, water pepper, and in the Riverine area to see the water, the provision of water that was going on there. We went to the community, the grammar school, and so forth and so on, to go around the various sites in which we are working. So these are some of the efforts being back upon to provide potable water to the people of Ondo State.
Now, you mentioned you talked about a current project that is ongoing in the urban area. Yes. Why the concentration on urban area for now?
Yes, first and foremost, we have more populations in the urban area. That's number one. Number two, according to this sustainable development goals, say we have to provide water to the urban population first, because God forbid there should be an epidemic, shall be an outbreak of disease. We have more population in the urban cities, so that's why first and foremost we have to face the urban cities first. Apart from this, at the same time, the economic implication of it, the urban centers are more likely able to pay up, and you'll be able to pay up the bill, because water is not free. That's another area we have to go to. Unlike before, water is not free anywhere in the world, provision of water. And we believe too as well, because even the fund being used to equally provide this water is not equally free. So, first and foremost, the urban cities has the advantage, number one, that the population on their side. Secondly, the economic implication, that at the end of the day, if this water is provided and it's running, definitely they'll be ready to pick up their bills as and when due, to pay reasonable amount of money to enjoy the water.
All right, so what makes you think that those in the rural areas will not be able to pay that bill?
They can pay. We're not saying they cannot pay. They can pay the bill, but at the same time, the population there, assuming the population there is less, and at the same time, the cost outlay, the sunk cost to provide this water, is enormous, and we have to start from somewhere. That's why we're saying that the World WHO has directed, has advised that provides water to the thickly populated areas of a city, of a country first. Then thereafter, you can go to other areas. We have semi-urban, we have the rural, and that is exactly what we are trying to follow, trying to pursue.
And now, given that ambitious vision that you had just laid out, what specific progress has the ministry made since the inception of this administration in increasing potable water access, especially leveraging on the Kamomi Aketi water scheme, which goal is to ensure that every household in Ondo State has access to potable water?
Yes, thank you very much. I've said, apart from the ongoing project that we are doing through our multi-purpose dam, that water are going to provide water to about 3 to 4 million people during completion of the state. Apart from this multi-purpose that we still want to give down to Ondo Dam to cover Ondo City and Loluji axis. That's the effort being made to cover to provide potable water to the people in this area. But to other areas, as I've mentioned, yes, in the Southern Senatorial District, already we have some water schemes that are running. Poto is running. Where Koya, very soon we are mobilizing to Okirikwa area to go and reticulate water there. And the only major challenge that we had in the past was because of the provision of power, and to be running, to be providing water, pumping water by diesel the cost is very, very enormous. That's why Mr. Governor said no, we have to find a lasting solution to this by providing solar power, the alternative renewable energy, now to power our energy, our pumps in the various water schemes. Then going to other areas, like I said initially, in the Northern Senatorial District, after this, the water scheme in Akure and in the urban city, we have some other dams too in the Northern Senatorial District. We have this Awara Dam in Ikare, which the experts will be there to go and do the feasibility studies as regards what is needed to be done there. Majorly see the issue of power. It's in the pipeline that after this, the next phase that we are going to back upon, in addition to the Kamomi, we call it Kamomi, that can provide water to about 2,000 to 3,000 people that we are doing now. We have identified some communities, local government headquarters and medium towns that Kamomi are being provided for. So for this year, this is just about the first quarter of 2026, and the budget, approved budget. So that's what we are pursuing, and very soon, by the grace of God, I know we are going to achieve the target as Mr. Governor has directed us to do.
Now, I want to talk on the Owena multi-purpose dam,
yes,
which renovation was flagged off by Mr. Governor in December last year. So what concrete steps is taking place at the site of Owena multi-purpose dam?
Yes, thank you very much. That's a very good question. But we want to know, I have to explain to the people of the state the progress being made. Specifically on the 9th of December 2025, the groundbreaking event was done, in which all the stakeholders were invited, both the donor agencies, the Federal Ministry of Water Resources, the Federal Ministry of Finance, and our own through the Water Corporation of Nigeria were invited for the groundbreaking. And as we speak, I want to tell you that the progress being made according to the timeline, according to the program already laid down, we are following religiously. In the first 30 days, 60 days of commencement of this project, some individuals, some critical stakeholders on the project, experts, consultants, and the officials of the ministry, traveled to faraway China to go and inspect some factories, in which we were expecting that some of the machines and pumps be provided. We were there. We spent about 2 weeks to inspect the factories. It was a mind-boggling experience that we had. And the contractor, the colleagues, they are back. And I believe orders have been given to all the equipment to be used. I want to tell you that the progress is very, very steady. The contractors are working to time, and there's no delay. And on a daily basis, or on a 2-weekly basis, we are going to the site to inspect the progress being made on the job.
So how would you rate the progress of that job?
The program, we say, accordingly, at least so far so good, they are up to 70% according to timeline.
So we actually expect that project to be delivered very soon?
Yeah,
if you said we've reached 70%.
No, not the total entire project, based on the period. They've been there now about 4 months, not up to 4 months, they commenced job. And it's not only on the job, the contract was divided into segments, so that it's not only just one contractor. We have about 3 to 4 contractors. All these things were divided into lots, so that they can expedite action. And then the various laws given to each contractor, they are facing them simultaneously. So within a period of between 18 months and 24 months, the job shall be completed.
And now let's go to the drilling of boreholes.
Yes.
The state government has drilled about 50 across the state.
The various,
yes, and we have just as you called that water, Omirono.
yes.
So Omirono is to ease our thirst in Ondo State and every other thing that comes with it. Now, if the state government has drilled about 50
Yes.
boreholes, so why do rural residents still have issues with accessing water and still having to get unprotected water? Why do we still have that issue in the state, despite the state government's investment?
Thank you very much. You know, we have to between 40 and 50 number of boreholes on the Miron. And to the entire state, you know, it's a fire cry. And at the same time, the provision of borehole is not a permanent solution to this problem of water scarcity. You have to go by community. Even a community, we see that a community may need about 4 to 5 boreholes, and this, you know, which can call them to Omiron. The difference between simple solarized borehole and Omiron is that a simple solarized borehole is to provide water for maybe about 500 to 1,000 people. But Omiron, we have a battery of boreholes. We harvest this water into a reservoir, then reticulate.
Okay. And
this one will give water to between 2,000 and 3,000 people in the community. And the cost implication of these two, Omiron and simple solarized borehole, the cost implication is very, very different and it's enormous. So now, Omiron that we are providing is not to every news and current, it's to semi-urban cities. At the same time, you know, the policy of fund, if we have to maybe approve or government approve about 5 Omiron, you know, for the entire period of a budget line. So 5 Omiron cannot go around the entire state, and that's why we are saying that within the first 1 year of this administration, yes, based on the budget provision, we are working towards that, and phase by phase. Last year we were able to embark on this number, and this year, by the grace of God, we are in the first quarter. We are actually trying to meet the target by expanding the number of water borehole that we are providing to every nooks and crannies of the state.
Okay. So in the short term, what is the plan for those in the remote areas?
What we are embarking on is just the provision of simple solarized boreholes. As we pray, we have about 15 to 20 boreholes that have been approved that we are going to work upon within the next 60 days.
Right, now let us move on to Ondo State wash policy, the national wash policy, which is the federal government. How would you benchmark the state's progress against national goals?
Yeah, the state we want to marry or compare what is happening in the state to that of federal, to match it side by side.
It is a federal government policy.
Yes, I want to say that the state policy is subsumed in that of the federal.
Yes.
And good enough, on those state policy, is in line with that of the federal government. For instance, we have Federal Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation, and Ondo State has Ministry of Water Resources, Public Sanitation and Hygiene. Unlike some other states, even a number of states here, in Lagos, some have the Ministry of Water Resources and Energy. Some have water resources and sanitation, or as the case may be. But in those states, policy is in line with that of the federal government. So therefore, any policy that comes out from the federal, doesn't take us time before we key into it. And that's why, in addition to this, there are so many programs that the federal government, Federal Ministry of Water Resources are embarking upon. Recently, they sent in some experts from Abuja come and do what we call the needs, investment needs in terms of water in the state. Right now, people on the field try to go around, particularly the rural areas, to go and take stock. What are the needs of the people of this state? It's a federal government finance project at no cost to the state. The state is embarking upon through the help of the federal government. And that's why we say the policy of the federal government, Prime Minister of Water Resources, and that of the state is, they are going side by side. It's in line. So there's no variance at all.
Okay, so what is the feedback from going to get the feedback of residents of the state on this initiative?
The water investment in needs. Yes, the initiative is still on. At the end of the day, the enumerators are on the field right now, because we engage the local government, we engage the state water corporation and the RUWASA, we engage the various stakeholders to carry out this enumeration, so that all the nooks and crannies, particularly in the rural areas, at the end of the day, we expect them to come up with a report. This report will be, edited. Will come to Akure to criticize the report before we now forward the final report to Abuja for final implementation. Okay. Then from there, we'll now be able to look at the various options, finance options, either go inwardly or go out or go and look for what we call either loan or grants to help the state to carry out the provision of water, particularly to the rural areas.
So how is that going?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The program, the demonstration is still on. It has not been completed.
I mean, the partnership, trying to get partnership to.
We have not come, not until when we have that report. The report has not come out. We say they have to bring the data, analyze the data, come up with a report, then send it to the appropriate office in Abuja. Then before we now start looking for sponsors, how to finance the needs.
Okay, so has Ondo State in any way adopt a state level wash policy to localize implementation in Ondo State?
Yes, well, the state has adopted wash policy in the sense that at the state level we have RUWASA, and we have a minister of the Ministry of Water Resources. We call it have a water corporation. So with that, we have in collaboration with the various stakeholders. We collaborate with the local government. We have this environmental, in those days we call them wole inspectors. So and the PSC, permanent health centers, we hand in hands, we particularly the hygiene aspect of the job. We are there to for now for what we call sensitization of the people, particularly on the hygiene aspect of it, on pontification, so that this wash policy can be achieved together, because only the Ministry of Water Resources or the WASA or the other water cannot do it alone. That's why we are joining hands with the necessary stakeholders to achieve the wash policy.
So is it not high time we accelerate the Wole initiative? It was actually very, very effective then.
Yes, we get there before we start to now say we want to now be doing enforcement. Further for how to do engagement, for how to do what we call advocacy. That's the level that we are now. Apart from the advocacy aspect of it, yes, we are making sure that, number one, the government provides the necessary facilities to the people, particularly provision of public toilets in the public spaces. Yes, spaces, but to provide enough to the schools, which we have started doing. As I've said, this week Monday, we want to go and inspect some of the public toilets that the ministry is building across the various zones in the state. So it is after provision of some of these facilities, the government is trying to do their own before we now engage in the private sector, PPP. So please help us, those people that are having public facilities, provide public sector facility. It is only then that we can now, start the issue, the area of enforcement, implementation and enforcement, So we are still at the stage of advocacy, trying to encourage people, and at the same time, we are enjoying your own medium too, to help us to continue to enlighten people about this watch program.
Because presently Ondo State has, after Bauchi State, is another state that has a high Lassa fever cases in the state. Now let's come down to still on the WASH policy, but this time around your policy in the public schools.
Yes.
We know that these schools, the ministry, the state has equally carried out advocacy in such schools, and has even established clubs in those schools. And we know that even these students, these pupils, they have a high level of hygiene awareness, what they are supposed to do. For example, my kid comes, oh, mommy, I need to wash my hand and all of that.
Yes.
But despite this awareness, most of these schools do not have toilets. Even where they have toilets, they do not have access to water. So most of them end up doing open defecation. So what approach is the state government taking to ensure that the WASH policy is a success in public schools in Ondo State?
Yes, thank you very much. I have to state here categorically that the provision of public toilets and to public institutions and places is a deliberate effort of the government, particularly that we have started doing. As I've said earlier on Monday here, we went around to go and inspect some of the public toilets being built, particularly into public schools. We went around the civil engineering aspect, buildings, so the toilets have been completed. The other phase is the provision of water, not just water that is sustainable. And this modern toilet, let me explain. It is not just the traditional toilets that we are doing or have basin, but this type of modern toilet, we have about 10 minimum of 10 rooms. We have different rooms, that the one for men, one for women.
In each school?
In each school, under one roof. That not only that, there is equally a provision for ladies, ladies in schools, where in the process of trying to do their monthly period we call menstruation, you have to provide an apartment for them to go there and do what? And
clean up.
Thank you very much. Clean up themselves. No, these are the facilities embedded in this modern toilet, and it's a world standard. That we are following. May not have it anywhere, but those states in the forefront to provide this modern toilet. Of course, a function, but that notwithstanding, Tribunal has said we should do it for our people. So it's a deliberate attempt to provide toilet facilities, and through various means to and donor agencies, we are sending this to various local governments. That's what we are doing. As I've said, just on Monday here, we went around to go and see the efforts to monitor the existing projects that we are back upon concerning the provision of toilets in public places.
At this point, we take a break on a State of the State. My guest is the Commissioner for Water Resources, Hygiene and Public Sanitation in Ondo State. We'll be right back. Don't go away. Thank you for rejoining us on State of the State. In the studio with me is the Commissioner for Water Resources, Hygiene and Public Sanitation, in person of Mr. Ayodele Akonde. Thank you so much for staying with us. Now, your ministry integrates sanitation with water access holistically. What policy frameworks ensure hygiene and that education reaches schools and clinics where only basic wash exists in many facilities?
Yes, thank you very much. Our ministry, the Ministry of Water Resources, Public Sanitation and Hygiene. At this junction, I need to explain a little bit. When we were talking about sanitation, some people used to mix it up. Maybe I was in charge of waste disposal, the waste along the roads, the market, the public places. What are we doing about it? I want to explain here that the sanitation that the Ministry of Water Resources is back on certain weight is not the solid waste being passed in the streets, in the community. But we are talking about sanitation concerning human waste, cleaning up, particularly women. That is sanitation where normally that goes with water. That goes with water. That is what we are primarily concerned about. Now the policy, the sanitation policy, as already mentioned, in the Ministry of Water Resources, we have a department called sanitation. We have a director, there was 16 officer, director, in charge of sanitation. Anything that with an expert, in that aspect, in that field, anything that goes that concerns sanitation for gender, this department is in charge. Not only this, even the other agency, water provision, that is UWASA, we currently have sanitation department over there that will have a responsible officer. So to cover the rural areas, the one in the ministry covers the cities. So they collaborate, and at the same time the department, the UWASA, have a relationship to do with the local government. From time to time, they invite the local government officials, particularly the environmental, the sanitation people there. They invite them to have a joint meeting that they used to review. They need to look at the various sanitation policies that goes around the various local governments. And at the same time, there any policy, directives coming from the headquarters from Abuja, they look into this to how they're going to implement. Like the current one that they are embarking upon now, that to go around the various communities to do needs assessment of the various communities and villages. So in conjunction, this is part of the collaboration, this is part of the policy, sanitation policy that we are having. That in the next 5 years, the next 10 years, what will happen? And I can say these are not that are some of the efforts we are making to make sure that the issue of sanitation, I will not go into other areas that involve health policy. I will not go into that area, but the area that covers our ambit is that we are working hand in hand with the various stakeholders to ensure the issue of sanitation is addressed in the state.
Now, let's take a look at the Global Sustainable Development Goals, which is in sight. It's 2030. We are in year 2025, 2026, and we have just about 4 years to meeting that Sustainable Development Goals.
Yes.
So how does the state government benchmark against the national WASH target, and what gaps must be closed to make the state a national model by 2030?
Thank you very much. It always good to set a target, and I believe that's a target that has been set. I remember there was a time where the millennium goal. I have, I don't know whether you can remember millennium goal, that everything, year 2000, the MDGs have to be done, have to be this. But from time to time, it's good to set goals and work towards attaining such goals. And now in the state, yes, we have a goal, we have a target that has been set, and at the same time, in between, subset of that goal is the annual budget that the state is having. The annual budget has, it's very, very, the elasticity, very, very small. For the government to be able to meet up with the various needs, we have a specific target amount in which particularly the year 2026 budget that been marked for the for our ministry. And for the sanitation aspect of it, we have to work within the budget. So year by year, we work towards attaining that goal. And work towards attaining that goal. And I want to tell you that even before the SDG, I think 2030, yeah, the state in their own aspect have been saying, well, let's try to do what the various government have been trying to, have their own way of keeping the environment clean, wash program, drink potable drinking water, wash your hands before you do this, so that to avoid diseases. And by the grace of God, I believe we shall get there. We are going there gradually in order to attain the 2030 set
sustainable development goals.
Yes.
Yes, you've spoken extensively on the activities of the ministry and the state government, and in ensuring that the WASH policy is the target is met and is successful in Ondo State across the 18 local government areas, including the schools. Now, and this equally is aimed at ending open defecation in the state. So how many state government, with all your programs, all the initiatives that the Ondo State government has embarked on through your ministry, how many local government have been certified free from open defecation in Ondo State?
Thank you very much. That question is a very direct one, and good enough. Nobody can hide, no government, no individual can hide under any guise again, because the scorecard, the report card is always there for anybody to Google and check the position of some of these things. After that, now, no local government have been satisfied to be defecation free. But we are working towards it. We are working, tremendously. We are working towards it that before the end of this year, yes, we go and present the report card to the proper authority to collectively review and assess how far we've gone. So for now, no local government have been cleared to be open defecation.
Why is that? Why is it so challenging to get at least some of our local government certified free from open defecation? Why is it so difficult to do that in Ondo State?
That is very, very difficult, too difficult. In Ondo State, we like doing our own things our own way. We don't like to impress anybody because our own is our own. And we are taking time, at least turn by turn, community by community. We are always very, very realistic. But that notwithstanding, is this is a challenge which we are working towards to achieve that goal, that target. But we know that to that it comes with reward, it comes with so many other things. We are not unaware of the rewards thereafter. And at the same time, even the benefit of it, we are working towards it. And that's why I said at that time that we need a lot of engagements. We need a lot of advocacy in this respect, so that people will be aware. Awareness, education, information is very, very important. Most of our people, they are not aware that don't do this, do that, but we will not relent. We will not relent to engage.
But do you think it is a case of not being aware, or a case of the facilities not in place? And that is what we talked about wole the other time.
Yes. No.
So do you think it is a case of not being aware? Because I believe that Ondo State people are learned. So many of us are learned. Yes. And we still have so many homes that do not have toilet facilities. So do you think it is a case of not being aware, or a case of those facilities not in place?
Yes, thank you very much. Awareness, education, yes. You can, some people are educated, but they are not enlightened. I talk about enlightenment. You know what I mean? Where in the bank center, I believe that there is no house that doesn't have toilet facilities. So it's only the rural areas where we say, okay, we are still trying to encourage them. So many houses in the rural area, they build those houses without even having a public toilet or a toilet to themselves. Facilities. But government efforts is that of trying to create awareness, consciousness, deliberate efforts to let people know it, and like the saying goes that ìmọ́tótó ló lè ṣẹ́gun àrùn. So many of our people villagers just don't know this. It's better to prevent the outbreak of a disease than trying to address it, and that's what this issue of open defecation will address. We are getting there, and I believe very soon we attain it, and that's why we are seeking the cooperation and understanding of so many of our people, citizens, individuals, to partner with government, the various bodies, the NGOs, the organized private bodies, to come up, so that we'll be able to do it together. The government cannot do it alone, but the issue of awareness, that's what I'm talking about, the issue of awareness, so that people talk to one-on-one, we'll be able to encourage ourselves to please be our brothers keepers by letting people be aware that it's good to keep your environment clean and have a public toilet. Not only this, the resources government is having may not be enough to be building toilet facilities in every nook and crannies. And at the same time, we need to collaborate with the people. I know that the people of Ondo State, they are very intelligent, they are very knowledgeable, and they are very law-abiding. With this enlightenment from your own organization and others, I believe we'll get there very soon.
All right, so what is the what sort of partnership do you have with the National Orientation Agency on that?
For now, I would say we don't have much partnership with National Orientation Agency. But at the local government level, with my vantage position of my previous experience where I served before, I know that at the local government level, we have cordial relationship with the National Orientation Agency. We won't have the offices of the National Orientation Agency at the local government level are resident within the local government secretariat. So we do things together, they do advocate together, carry out assignments together at that level.
Okay.
But at the state level, particularly as far as my ministry is concerned, we don't have much relationship as to this, what I just said.
Any future plans?
Well, with this, I believe is calling an advice that we are calling attention to, that these are some of the bodies we can go to go and further encourage this enlightenment for
and awareness.
Our people and awareness with the people of the state.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ayodele Akonde. We still have some minutes to go on the program.
Thank you very much.
Now, let's come down to sustainability of these programs.
Yes.
Sustainability of providing water
to
the people of Ondo State.
Yes.
Sustainability in drilling boreholes and maintaining such, ensuring that it works effectively. So what's a new, because various previous administrations, you would agree, have promised to sustain past projects, but we see that at the end of each administration, it's like there is a lull when it comes to that particular project. It's like I know that we, as Nigerians, we have issues with continuity, but I believe that the government of Ayedatiwa is more interested in continuing past projects. Now, let's talk about sustainability of all these projects, of all these initiatives that we have talked about. What new accountability mechanisms are in place to prevent borehole breakdown, the little that has been done in rural areas?
Yes.
So what mechanisms are in place to prevent a breakdown and ensure effective functioning of these boreholes that have been drilled across the state?
Yes, thank you very much. I would have expected this question from you now that you are asking me. Yes.
You expected it a long time ago.
The issue of sustainability, that's an interesting area, particularly going by my primary profession. Now, it's all over the world. It is, there that sustainability. Even in accounting, we have a new method we call sustainability accounting. how do we sustain the current process. For us at the Ministry of Water Resources, particularly this borehole that I just mentioned, you agree with me that the issue of maintenance culture, that will be, everybody has been singing that chorus, maintenance culture. Nigerians will lack maintenance culture. By the time we provide new facility, how do we maintain it? How do we sustain it? Yes, as far as our ministry is concerned, for the provision of borehole in the rural areas, yes, there is this party, this committee set up. Any community that we are to provide borehole, first and foremost, we have what is known as community engagement. It seems first of all go in advance to go and sensitize the community. That's number one. Two, the implementation, the borehole will be provided. At the end of the day, there is this team too, this officer, this individual called watch facilitator. Watch facilitator. They call it embedded in any program, in any borehole that we are providing to the community. We're able to engage the community leader, give us somebody that will be in charge, because we want the community to own up the facility. Because after government providing such borehole, such facility, we move to another place, but we will not be there for the day-to-day running of that facility. That's why we engage the community and have various engagement with them. Provide us an officer, maybe the first 6 months, be giving them stipend to run for that individual. Then we now try to encourage the community. Please gather yourself together, whatever you can use to be helping a scenario to that individual. Do it. So we have a deliberate effort to ensure that such facilities being provided are maintained and be yielding results. Because
feedback channel.
Yes, because we have the communication, we have in our system, we have their telephone numbers, we have their telephone numbers. From time to time, we have feedback, to forward and backward. We call them, they call us. If they have any challenge, for instance, they call the ministry and quickly we send our experts to that place to go and rectify the fault. That is number one concerning the borehole project, about sustainability. We ensure that it's better to maintain a facility than providing new one year in, year out. That about the boreholes. Even our water streams, definitely we are more or less beginning all over to ensure that our water streams across the state works effectively, particularly the multipurpose dam, water dam that we are working on. Definitely the sustainability. As we have the experts working on this, contractors working on this project, experts that were recommended by the donor agencies, they recommended some experts to work with our local staff, to the issue of manpower development. They are there, that is, I would say, hand-on training. We equally have some new hands that we call it training, so that by the time they said the young shall grow, by the time the current senior cadre of staffs leave the scene, the younger ones will automatically take over. It's part of the deliberate effort of sustainability. From time to time, we call it embarking on training. Capital development, human capital development is very, very important. Particularly on the new projects that we are doing, is part of the package given to us by the donor agency that we have to develop manpower development. Very, very important. So these are some of the deliberate efforts that we are making to sustain the water and infrastructure facilities being provided in the state.
So you have a strong community engagement with those communities where those boreholes.
Definitely, yes.
Now, Kamomi
yes.
Promises ease, right?
Exactly.
It promises ease. Now, how well is that ease being fulfilled? And you will also agree that it is not just about sinking boreholes alone. It is also about public satisfaction.
Yes.
So, how well is Kamomi providing ease for the people of Ondo State?
Yes. For now, we say the water schemes come and solarized boreholes has not gone round. Maybe we are still at maybe 10 or 20%. Going forward. And they said Rome was not built in a day. This administration just marked 1 year in office, but since last month, in February. And out of 4 years, for now, the first instance, 1 year has been done. At the same time, our budget cycle, 12 months. So for this year, we are going forward to provide more and solarized boreholes. Then I want to say, for now, the government is not charging a dime for the provision of this water. We know that it's an investment. It's not just an expense. It's a capital investment, which over time, yes, the state, the government will benefit. The citizens of the state will benefit from it. That's why Mr. Governor has been spending a huge amount of money in this aspect. Our is, yes, part of our is agenda to at least provision of infrastructural facilities, being provided. You see the road networks, being phased, not only that, all over the state, across the state, new road networks, modern facilities, road infrastructures, water, as we've been saying the other time, we are providing water, to the people of the state, and electricity too, with the new policy of the federal government that have dovetailed to the state too. The state government is really keen to trying to provide their own. They want to be generating their own power. They want to be generating their own power, so that with time, yes, this blackout that we're having, improvement. That improvement will come on board. So this some of these areas are the areas being embarked upon by by their governor to ensure that our ACE agenda is met without any ado.
So what challenges exist in getting water to every household in Ondo State?
Yes, you and me too agree that the scarce resources,
financial resources
is there. It's a constraint, big constraint that the government cannot do it all alone and within a space of short period. Even one administration cannot even finish, the issue of water, provision of water to the state. But be that as may, provision of potable water to every citizen of the state is very, very paramount, very, very dear to the heart of Mr. Governor, which we are working towards meeting that target. So that's what I have to say concerning that. There's a deliberate effort, deliberate attempt. So the people at home of the state to understand this, that water will get to every household, water will get to every community with time.
Now, as the Commissioner for Water Resources, yes, Hygiene and Public Sanitation and Hygiene, what are your future plans for that ministry?
Yes, thank you very much. Part of what we are trying to introduce now is monitoring of facilities. As we said at that time, sustainability. We are trying to introduce that is these are facilities, these are properties, these are infrastructure. We need to monitor it. We need to sustain it. Not only that, 5-year plan, only plans, 10 years. We are trying to make sure, first and foremost, we say human capital development. We are working on the young engineers, young administrators that will be able to run with time. That very soon, water ministry or water corporation supposed to be on subvention of the state government. It's supposed to be on their own to be able to generate enough fund to pay their salaries, run their overheads, and at the same time generating additional revenue to the central post of government. So these are targets that we are moving towards that. And at the same time, people at the appropriate time should be able to know that very soon when this water is provided to every household, we should be ready to pay some money, to pay a dime. Water is not free anywhere. Drinking water is not free. We have to do this reality. We have to let our people know. But we trust our people, just like the issue of electricity. That people are ready to pay now. Want that to have maybe 18 hours light, power in the day. We're ready to pay, just like Band-Aid. When the federal government introduced that one initially, people complained, but now we're enjoying it. Just like communication through telephone. Initially, people complained, but we are used to it, we are paying. Ditto, the next phase is going to be water. By the time potable water comes to every household, I believe people, good people from those states, will be ready to pay for it. So that's what I would say.
Well, I would say that the most important thing is access to that potable water.
Yes.
That is what the people of Ondo State
want
presently. So we'll be speaking to the Commissioner for Water Resources, Hygiene and Public Sanitation in person of Mr. Ayodele Akonde. Thank you so much for joining us on the program, State of the State.
Thank you very much.
It's good to have you here.
Nice to be here too.
And that's the much we can take on the program this evening. My name is Odun Ayosoya. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. Good evening.